Scarefest Radio is sponsored by Spirit Mechanics. For your spiritual health and well-being, find them on Facebook. MECHANIX. And by Coyote Chris Sutton, bringing light to the darkest places. CoyoteChris.com.
If the memory of Jason still haunts you, you're not alone. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
Severe trauma at age 12. Brutal self-defense, murder of a psychopathic killer. Boy, they've given him every therapy they can think of. It's a wonder his mind isn't fried with all the drugs they've given him.
The mindless, murderous fury that was buried with Jason has been reborn.
Hey.
And suddenly, terror has become child's play. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Radio, version 2019. Original broadcast date is January 11th, 2019. Happy New Year, everybody. Our first show of the year. And what do we do? What do we do to start the show off? We get Deborah Voorhees from the Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. And so we've got a great show coming up, everybody. We got a lot of stuff to talk to her about, including her new project, 13 Fanboy. Now, of course, I am joined tonight by Mr. Jason Boyd. Hello, Jason.
Hi, everybody.
Jason, do you have your milk sandwiches ready?
Yeah, I think I actually managed to wade through all the, crowds of people and the blood and the guts and everything to get my stuff to make French toast. So I'm good.
Yeah, that's right, everybody. They've predicted 1 to 3 inches of snow in Kentucky, so we've decided that we have to strip the shelves down, buy generators, prepare for
Snowmageddon.
Snowmageddon.
Yes,
that's it. And so there's that going on. So okay, tonight, by the way, at about the 30-minute mark, roughly, give or take, tonight, we do have, where'd my tickets go? They're buried here on the desk somewhere. I have 2 tickets, here they are, to Ronnie Millsap in concert at the Lexington Opera House, Thursday, February 28th, 2019. We're going to give these away to somebody I think I'm going to do it on Twitter. I'm going to keep it simple. I think we'll do it on Twitter tonight. So load your Twitter application, load it on Facebook, on your desktop, your computer, or your phone, whatever the hell. But we got those to give away. That'll be our prize for tonight. And without further ado, we're going to bring Deborah on. Hello, Deborah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be here.
And we're just absolutely giddy to have you. Just absolutely giddy. Now I'm going to start off.
As ever, by the way, let me add. So,
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said you look as lovely as ever. Let me add that. So.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
gosh, now he's done went and out flirted me. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Yeah, but Jason, do your show notes include Playboy Bunny in big print?
No, they don't actually. But of course, I'm the horror geek, so I don't look at all the.
There you go. That's the balance. That is the balance of this episode.
You only watch the horror movies for the kills, right?
Educational purposes,
That's right.
Okay, we're going to talk about Friday the 13th first. Everybody, we're going to get to 13th Fanboy. I'm real excited about talking about it. But since we're on the topic, more or less, let's on Friday the 13th, the one thing on part 5, the one thing that struck 1985. I remember 1985 fairly well because that was about the time I got married, so I had to sober up. So, now, the thing I do not remember about 1985 that I did notice in the movie when I rewatched it, nobody wore freaking bras in that movie.
Not true. Actually, I know I did, and I know other women did, so.
Okay. Well, when it came to the scenes where they had, I'll put it this way, there was a step in any of the, we'll call them nude scenes, topless scenes. Any of those scenes did not involve removing a bra. I just wanted to say that I noticed that because of my age. That's the type of person I am. Right. But I distinctly remember in 1985 there being many, many more bras than that in the general population.
Right, in the general population, definitely. Mm-hmm.
But now Jason was talking before the show. This is one of his favorite of the franchise. Now,
yes.
when you had some acting credits before that, how did you get involved with, what brought you into the franchise? Because that's a big step as far as I could tell looking at your IMDb from where you were.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where my agent called me up. What happens is a film company, when they're doing a film, they send over to the various casting agents and to agents, and they give a description of the character and what it is. And my agent felt like I was right for Friday the 13th, and or this particular horror film. It was called something else at that time, Repetition or Redition, something like that. And so yeah, they just had me in, and it was a huge cattle call. I mean, it was just lines and lines of people coming in and auditioning. I went in 3 times, for an audition, and I felt very lucky to be in it. Before that, I had been on the television show Dallas, on Riptide, and several other films. So this was really exciting and nice. So.
And since you mentioned it, I wish I had actually noticed it earlier. But on Dallas, that was a recurring role. You were on a half a dozen or a dozen episodes.
Yeah, I was on seven episodes of the Dallas show, and oddly enough, they had me playing different roles. So.
Oh, okay. Well, see, okay, okay, I did not know that because the IMDb just says waitress or something like that, and so
right.
So I did not realize that. I guess you were just so damned beautiful that. But at the same time, I'm thinking, wait a minute, no, somebody that pretty, people are going to notice.
I really enjoyed working on that show. It was a neat show. I did everything from, I was the Queen of the Oil Barons Ball. I was I was in the show more than that because I did extra spots too. But as far as speaking roles, I had 7 of the speaking roles. And but yeah, I was the Queen of the Oil Barons Ball, and also was in a bar scene where I flirted with Bobby, and yeah, several different things. So it was a lot of fun.
Jason, over to you.
So as far as that goes, did they? I mean, I guess when you first interviewed, did you have any idea what you were getting into? Did they tell you any more about the story, or is it just kind of, were you kind of flying blind, or?
No, really, honestly, when you go into audition, you really don't get, a full script or anything like that. You get sides, and so you don't really know that much about what it is that you're reading for. But it's, yeah, you're just trying to get what you can get, and the more you can get FaceTime on screen, the better chance you have at making it in the film business. So,
well, that was kind of that's what we talked about that earlier before the show about, how that particular movie was so different than the rest of them. And I think it kind of shocked everybody because,
Right.
it wasn't Jason, it was somebody else.
Spoiler
And,
alert!
so, I mean,
Spoiler
it's
alert!
kind of a, film for that, for the franchise. So, my opinion anyway, but
right.
some people might argue with that one, but like I said, it's definitely, being a dad myself, I mean, you can kind of understand his, frustration and rage and,
Right.
and it just and of course, like I said, it had a great cast. I mean, there was of course there's a lot of them that were from another favorite film of mine, which was Return of the Living Dead. So that was something else, and I rewatched it again. I guess because it's been years since I'd watched it, and I bought the box set and watched it again. I was like, oh hey, it's so and so from Return of the Living Dead. So it was awesome, but. Yeah, I have to say it was one of my favorite ones, and plus, I don't know, something unique about that mask too. I don't know, like I said, of course, you saw my my copy that I had there, but I mean, as far as you still keep in touch with a lot of the cast and things. I mean, I know you looks like on the movie there you're working on.
With social media and stuff, it really kind of helps us keep in touch. Whether it was somebody from Friday the 13th 5 or one of the other Fridays. And so yes, there's several people that I'm still in touch with, and of course. In 13 Fanboy, I have several actors in it. Ron Sloan is going to be a junior, and Carol Locatel, she's going to be doing a cameo for us, and so that's going to be a lot of fun. Those two together are quite a riot. And then we've got a lot of people from the Friday the 13th franchise. We've got C.J. Graham from 6 and Tom Matthews from 6, and we can talk about that later, but, between, just being a part of the franchise and having 13 Fanboy and what I'm doing with that. So, yeah, I do end up, chatting and visiting with some, particularly, those who are online.
Yeah, because we definitely want to talk more about the movie, because I know a lot of my friends that are huge Friday the 13th fans are just completely just blown away by it. So, and of course, I've been spreading the word as well and trying to get more people on the page there to check it out and stuff, because I mean I'm personally excited about it myself. So
thank you.
I'm hoping that we get to see it soon. Maybe start dropping some more trailers and things. So. Of course, like I said, and again, we'll leave it up to you if you want to, throw some teasers at us there.
Absolutely.
Just foaming at the mouth for it. So.
Well, I'm going to try to get her to drop spoilers the whole second half of the show. I want to know all about it. Everybody, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more Scarefest Radio and Deborah Voorhees. Do you feel lost in life? Do you seem to be stuck in emotions that are not yours? Is your home not the sanctuary it should be? Contact Spirit Mechanics, where they take a team approach to your metaphysical and spiritual problems. Spirit Mechanics specializes in aura cleansing, stone attunement, attachment removal, and house cleansings. Spirit Mechanics tailors their approach to your individual spiritual path and needs. Find them every month at Lexington, Kentucky's Mystical Fair, mysticalfairlex.com, or on Facebook by searching Spirit Mechanics, that's MECHANICS. Spirit Mechanics, for your spiritual health and well-being. And welcome back to Scarefest Radio. Our guest tonight is Deborah Voorhees. I kind of cut Jason off a little short there. I'm gonna go ahead and toss it back to him and let him get back in on the questions.
So now, as far as like I said, we were talking about the film and everything. As far as have you gotten like a huge like press for it? I mean, has you gotten out like on other websites and things? I mean, what are some of the other websites and things have been advertising?
Oh my gosh. We've been very fortunate. We've gotten so much coverage from the press. Everybody from, obviously you guys, Pop Horror, iHorror, lots of YouTubers like Lee McCoy and Dr. Wolfie and Sleeved Biker, just a ton of the different people, Ben Ottavino. It's a long list. It's a really long list. So very grateful to it. The very first person to write about us was Jeremy Deck, and he's with MovieWeb and Grew Monkey and stuff. So yeah, we've got a long list of people. I've been doing regular interviews, several a week.
So as far as that goes, I mean, you guys, it looks like you've kind of exceeded your the GoFundMe project and everything. Yeah. So of course, like I said, I donated to that as well. I mean, I really wanted to see this happen. So, and I was excited to see it actually not only met but exceeded its goals. So
it did, and that meant what's really nice about that is that since we did open up during the holidays, a lot of our fans were saying, "Oh my gosh, if only it was after Christmas." And I said, well, if we make our goal, we go into something called in demand. And for in demand, they can continue to become a part of the film. I mean, for as little as $13, you can get your name in the credits. I mean, that's less than a movie and popcorn. So, yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. We're really excited about it. And I'm really excited to see the fans so happy and excited about it.
Oh yeah, like so definitely. We and especially in this area, we got a lot of Friday the 13th fans around here. So we I know a lot of my friends and things have been just following it religiously, of course, including myself. So we were I was wanting to kind of dig more into it and trying to find out maybe let's get drop some spoilers and things, maybe something that nobody knows yet. But yeah. I'd say we're probably going to be, tight-lipped on that one, but hey, we can dream. So
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, basically, I can give you some info on it. As you know, it's about an obsessed fan who is stalking women from the series, and with the intent to kill. And he's actually really going after, his favorites. It has a lot of twists and turns. You're not going to know who the killer is until the very end. There's a lot of, think of it, this is a very realistic film. Friday the 13th is, I would say it's more like you're kind of like a swashbuckler in a way. Saturday afternoon, popcorn, a fun movie. Jason's not really coming up from the grave. And it's not real. This is something that is much more realistic. Think of the kind of the feeling I'm aiming for is like Cape Fear and Hush with the horror kills.
Oh yeah. And of course, if anybody's interested in checking out the page, it is 13 Fanboy, and please go over and check it out. Give it a like, and like I said, there's a synopsis on there. There's the cast on there, and of course, you can see read through the posts and everything. It's constantly updated, so you guys will always be in the loop of what's going on. So I recommend checking it out and giving it a like there, showing some support. especially if you're a Friday 13th fan like myself.
Absolutely. So. And you can also come over to my horror page, which is Deborah Voorhees Share Horror Group. And that's a great place to find out more about it too. And then also, if you go and contribute to Indiegogo, then you're also will get updates and, you know, behind the scene things that are going on as we're moving along with the film. And we're going to have some more really big announcements. It's definitely going to be a very intense film.
So as far as that goes, I mean, did you just kind of, you know, have this like, you know, like a kind of epiphany kind of thing? Say, hey, I need to make this movie, or is it just something that, you know, kind of came to you, or?
No, what had happened was I was talking with my producing partner. His name's Joel Paul Rising. He's a fabulous producer. He's got like 25 films under his belt, and all of which have had distribution, and which, you know, if you know anything about the independent film world, that in itself is a massive feat.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, it's huge. And you know, he's already gotten us a theatrical release, which is really great. And so we're talking and visiting about a couple other films we were looking at. And he just out of curiosity asked me, what is it like at the horror conventions? And I said, well, I've only been to a couple, but, you know, they're a lot of fun. You know, fans are, you know, horror fans, everything that people think are horror fans, they're all wrong. They're just some very jovial, fun, just loving life kind of people, and they just love to dress up. And he's like, well, is there ever a scary moment or anything? And I was like, no, not really. I said, now I've had some kind of weird things happen over the years, but it's been more on social media. Like I said, one time I had a fan that kind of spooked me, about a few kind of spooked me, but one said, you know, wouldn't it be cool if you died in real life like you did in the movie? And I was like, no, actually not at all. I don't think it'd be cool. I don't think it'd be fun. You know, doing a horror movie is fun because it's make-believe.
All right.
Reality, that's a whole nother ball game. No, I don't want to go there. And then I said, then another time, this was actually spooky because that one was on, you know, Facebook, you know, where you can message people, the messenger part. Mm-hmm. This one actually came text to my phone, and I had a series of them, and I blocked it. It took me a while to figure out how to block it, but I had a series of them coming over that it was clear that the person knew me from Friday the 13th, that they were a fan, and they seemed to be suggesting they meant harm and that they were watching me right then at that moment. And, you know, it was nighttime, dark, and, you know, there's a big window right there. And so that really spooked me. And my producing partner says, that's a movie. And I was like, no, no, that's way too realistic for me. And, but with, you know, I had a lot of sleepless nights over it, honestly, because the truth is it really did scare me. And, but after thinking it through, and I was just like, you know, this scares me. I can really scare people with this. This is going to be a great movie. And so I called him back up and I said, let's do it. So he and I sat down and wrote together the first 30 intensely detailed outline, 30-page outline, where, you know, we knew everything that was going to happen, mm-hmm. scene by scene by scene by scene. And then I took it from there and wrote it. And it's intense. some of you may know that I wrote the lead for Adrienne King. And some of you know we had this discussion before I wrote it. And she had been stalked, but I didn't know a lot of the details about, what had happened. And we just had a conversation not too long ago because she backed away from the project. And she said, it was like you were there. She said, you were so dead on. I was like, whoa. And it's, she said, it's just not something. She said, I'm so sorry. I can't do it. I just can't. And I completely understand and completely respect her for it. And I love her to death. She's a very sweet woman. But yeah, so it's an intense script.
Well, I mean, especially since it be coming from, like you said, real life, because I mean, that's really, I guess as they kind of pointed out in The Walking Dead, the monsters are people. So,
Right.
And of course, you have true horror fans that, this like me that have the useless horror trivia that they store up here, and and of course you have the ones that take it just a little bit too far. But so you'd mentioned horror conventions. Which ones have you attended so far?
I went to the Texas Frightmare and also Horror Hound in Columbus. And both of them were really nice. I really enjoyed them.
So have you got some more scheduled? I mean, the fans can, come see you.
Right now, but eventually I hope to do a few more. And of course, I'd like to do some with 13 Fanboy too.
Yeah, because I'd say, especially, with building up steam and everything with the movie, I'm sure they'll probably, they'll have a huge, turnout. If you set up a booth somewhere and any of the horror conventions, I'm sure there'll be a huge turnout anyway.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I think we actually have for the film a convention scene, and that we'll be needing to do. So we are looking for a good convention that makes sense for where we're located and where our cast members are located to get to. So hopefully we can kind of combine the thing for both doing promotions and bringing more people on board about the film, and just letting people know what's out there, and as well as getting what we need done shot too. So it'll be pretty interesting.
Now, as far as the GoFundMe, that's on your the Facebook pages as well, right? So the fans can go donate whenever.
Actually, it's Indiegogo campaign.
Okay.
And they can go to Indiegogo, just type in 13 Fanboy and it'll pop right up. And I can send you guys a link so you can include it with this. And but yeah, it's still up, and so you can still be a part of the film. You can even be a producer. So
that's what I'm saying. You mentioned something about the names being in the credits and everything. So that would definitely be something that I know a lot of people would be interested in. So
well, yeah, I mean, you think about it. When are you going to have a chance to have your name in the credits? If you're a Friday the 13th fan, and we have so many from all these different Friday the 13th films, you've got to get your name in the credits. You just have
to. Absolutely. As far as, are you working on anything else, like kind of in the foreseeable future, or is this kind of your main?
I do have things coming up, other things, but this right now is taking every ounce of my life, my existence.
I imagine. Like I said, I know some friends of mine that do a lot of indie projects and things, and yeah, it's like it just consumes them completely, and they have to, stay on top of it, and of course stay on top of the like I said, production and making sure that they have releases, and
right.
Is it gonna go straight to Amazon? Is it gonna be a DVD release? So yeah, right. I mean, now you mentioned theatrical releases. Is that gonna be like is it gonna be nationwide, or are they gonna like pick certain areas, or?
We should have about a medium to small release, which will be 350 to 750 screens. throughout the United States. We would like to also give a theatrical outside of the U.S., but right now that's what we're looking at. And we have, then of course we'll go wide distribution on streaming and DVDs and all of that as well.
Looks like, yeah, because that, most places these days kind of go with the streaming. They kind of skip over the whole DVD releases and things. But of course, if if you guys do a DVD release and like I said, ever get a chance to catch you up, in person somewhere, then I'd like to have something to have an autograph by.
Absolutely.
So definitely we gotta have we gotta have your autograph on that, and especially it's kind of to me it's kind of a milestone in the Friday the 13th franchise, in my opinion. So
absolutely.
But I mean, like, so we we were kind of wondering as far as more about the film, and like, so we're and I'll make sure I keep spreading the word about it, and hopefully you'll kind of keep teasing us with it, and we'll keep finding out more and more about what's going on. And I love the premise of the film anyway. I mean, it sounds fantastic. I mean, I'm hoping that that everybody can enjoy it. Just listen. Like I said again, if you guys get a chance to jump on the Facebook page there, and so there's a plot outline. It kind of gives you everything, as far as it gives you enough to know what's going on with the film, but at the same time keeps you curious and wanting more. So, and like I said, I highly recommend getting on there because it's constantly updated. So, get there and check it out and everything, and show some support.
Thank you. Yeah, I can give you a little bit of a longer synopsis. It's Kelsey Voorhees witnesses her grandmother's murder when she's a little girl. And when 10 years later, when she's a young adult, she realizes that there have been more than one Friday the 13th person murdered. And she soon finds out that this person is still out there, and her grandmother's best friend's life is in danger, and then she finds herself targeted as well. So it is definitely going to be very intense.
Yeah, so we and I don't know, like I said, it's something about the whole like you said, the Jason thing, it's far-fetched, I guess, with the undead killer and everything. So I think this is, you're right. I think this is really going to, scare the pants off the fans for sure. So,
right.
What do you think, Wes?
Have you heard of Nora Hewitt? She won the season 9, or wait, 6 or 9 of Face Off, that's the competition with all the best special effects artists out there.
Oh yeah.
And she's doing our special effects, and we went to Tom Savini to talk to him, and he said that's the person you want. And so came recommended by Tom Savini, and she actually she's his protege. She took his, he has a school, and she's his top student, and so she's doing our special effects.
So if the man himself says you're in good hands, then you're in good hands. Then
we're in very good hands. Exactly.
Nice. Yeah. So Tom's, of course, Tom Savini's been doing this for a minute, and he's got some fantastic special effects and things. So and if he recommends her, then this is going to be
right. Right.
What do you think, Wes?
I think it's time for our commercial break and to give away these tickets. I need to give away these tickets. So what we're going to do, everybody, I'm going to tell you right now, go to Twitter, tag @TheScarefest, @TheScarefest. That's who you want to tag to win Ronnie Millsap tickets, Lexington Opera House, February 28th, and they're pretty good seats right down on the floor level. I forget what they call it. But while we're waiting for somebody to win those, we're going to go ahead. We're going to have our commercial, and we'll be right back.
Coyote Chris Sutton.
Shamanism.
Spiritual advisement.
Paranormal investigations.
Inspirational presentations.
Bringing light to the darkest places for over 20 years. Go to coyotechris.com to learn more.
Who's scared? Who's scared? Scared of what? Well, you know those Friday the 13th movies from the 80s? There's a copycat killer out there killing girls for real. Shut up. Yeah. And they think it's some, like, crazed fanboy. He's stalking the stars of the original movie.
I wouldn't believe everything you see on the internet.
What was that? Oh yeah, I've heard about this. Just some bullshit for some movie.
Wait, what? Cool. Who's in it?
Tracy Savage.
Ooh, love that blue bikini.
Judy Aronson.
Hottest chick from part 4.
Deborah Voorhees.
Amazing tits.
Dude, shut up. Them and a whole bunch of other actresses from the original movies. And they even have some of the original guys, like CJ Graham.
Wait, no way. The dude that played Jason?
Oh, and Tom Matthews.
That's awesome.
I have proof.
For real?
This was posted live on Facebook. It's the chick that got her eyes gouged out with garden shears. They couldn't find her body anywhere. So it's just a publicity prank. You can't even tell who it is. It's just one of those things where you donate money online.
Yeah, the producers will put your name in the credits, maybe invite you to the premiere, and who knows, maybe you'll even get killed in the movie.
I don't want to be killed in a horror movie. No, thank you.
Well, then just keep your top on, sweetie.
Yeah, you can't die in a horror film unless you show your titties. Come on, guys!
Steve. Stacy! 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 Stacy!
I'm leaving. Not that Jacob. Steve. This isn't funny. Guys?
And we're back, and I want now. Okay, I totally dicked up the Ronnie Millsap ticket giveaway. I didn't actually give the hashtag. Somebody made up one based on what I said and went out of her way to win the shit out of it. So, Teresa Whitehead, you win. You based on lack of information. She tagged the Scarefest with hashtag at the Scarefest. That shows you what a little imagination can do. So I'll get your address after the show, Teresa, and we will mail you these tickets. Thank you for playing our home game. Now, back to our special guest, Deborah Voorhees. Okay, now, I'm just going to steer this completely off 13 fanboy for a minute, because the topic of conversation, and it was mentioned in the movie, so I have a couple things about it. Playboy Bunny. How does one make the transition from? Now I'm assuming this was after or about the time you went to college.
I was 19 when I was a Playboy Bunny, and it was the same time that I started working with the TV show Dallas. So. Okay,
so basically you were doing this to pay the bills. You're doing the whole actor thing. You did the waitress thing. You just did it in a really big way. Now I want to transition into the. Just reading some of the trivia on IMDb. Okay, you get the part in Friday the 13th, Part 5, and your first day on set, you do the nude scene and get bumped off. How does a person process that as an actor?
Well, it was really very smart, Danny. He was a smart director and very kind. He knows that kind of thing can be nerve-wracking. So get it over with, pull the Band-Aid off fast kind of thing. And so, yeah, he was smart.
I had not thought of that. Yeah. But it's not the way I would have thought.
To worry about it. You're done. And then you can go on and do the other parts of your role.
So you all of you aspiring actresses out there, pull the Band-Aid. You've heard the advice there. Now somewhere along the line you made time for college, because I understand you have a BS in journalism.
I do. I was I was a journalist for almost 2 decades with I worked at several publications. One was the Dallas Morning News. That's where I worked the longest. And then I was with the Fort Worth Star-Telegram and Front Desk Magazine, Modern Luxury Magazine. And then I also worked for the largest Shakespeare publication online, and it's called the Shakespeare Standard.
Now, is that last one you mentioned, is that... okay, I'm asking you a chicken and the egg question. Your director credits, and actually one of your acting credits, are Shakespeare related.
Right.
Basically taking one of them, and you took a Shakespeare story and kind of adapted it. That was one, I believe that's the one you directed.
Right.
So did you have a natural love of Shakespeare?
Good Night, My Sweet, which is the final death scene. It's a short. It's final death scene in Othello. And then I did Billy Shakespeare, which is more of a what-if comedy. What if Shakespeare never existed until now? And then I also got connected with a guy, he's a Brooklyn rapper who does Shakespeare's sonnets and all around the world teaching. And I did 3 music videos for him. And one of them was called, it was Hip Hop Hamlet, and it was the To Be or Not to Be scene. And he first does everything in Shakespeare's language, and then he does it in its own. And that one actually went to the film festival in Stratford-upon-Avon, which is Kenneth Branagh's Shakespeare Film Festival. So
you're a versatile woman. Okay. Now here's the misogynist in me coming out. You don't think of somebody who has the credits that you have, the new scene in Friday the 13th, and then you're Playboy Bunny, and then you're into Shakespeare and 2 decades as a journalist.
Right.
That is, I'll put it, that is what I would call a well-rounded life, because that's about the 2 most extremes I can think of.
Yeah, no, I've had a very good life. I'm definitely a literary geek, and I love my Shakespeare. I have the huge volume like this of all of his works, and I sat down with it in my lap and opened it to page 1, and I read all the way through.
I read some when I was young, and I have to admit I was never good at reading it because I'm an idiot. But now I will say when I do enjoy watching it acted out.
Yeah, yeah, it isn't, honestly, nobody's an idiot because they don't understand Shakespeare. It takes a period of time. You need to study it, you need to learn the language, you need to learn the meaning of the words.
See, that's the thing,
And
though. Reading it, now that's when I professed to be an idiot. But now, back when I was in high school and around there, I could quote massive chunks of it because if I took it to the stage, I was fine with it. In other words, if I actually had to remember, now I'm not saying the words, I don't even remember if they meant anything to me, but I love watching it acted out. Now, if I'm watching, The Taming of the Shrew, I watched that on PBS. God, I was 17. Absolutely loved it, even though, I'm not that kind of guy. So I definitely do appreciate the art involved in it. The other question I had kind of, also is trivia, so I'm just going to put it out there. You're directing and involved so heavily in 13 Fanboy, but there is a rumor around that you are not a natural-born horror fan.
Nope, I wasn't at all. I'm absolutely have been a huge chicken all my life. And it was the horror fans who brought me to the genre. People would say, watch this, this is a really good movie. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding. And so, I didn't want to disappoint him, so I'd watch it. And over time, I was like, wow, these are really good movies. They're really intense. And so now I have a bunch of horror films that I really love. But yeah, and I seek them out now. Now, I'm still not going to watch a horror movie by myself. I just won't do that. And if it's a really scary one, then my husband can't even go to the bathroom without me. I'm not going to be left alone. If he has to go to the kitchen to get something and the movie's going, it's like, no, it has to go on pause until you get back into place and I can grab your arm. But it's fun.
I totally get that.
Kind of scare.
In our household, when I'm watching a horror movie with my lovely wife, basically anytime the kill scene comes up, I can look over and she's on Facebook. She'll watch the movie. But that's when the Facebook posts go out and she catches up on that. But now of course we've talked about the Indiegogo for 13 Fanboy. And by the way, everybody, when you're contacting a famous person about their upcoming project, watch your freaking typing and don't call something like 13 Fanboy 12 Fanboy. I swear to God that was just a typo. I knew what the project was called. You corrected me on that and I went, oh my God, I just blew it all. She'll never talk to me now.
No.
But I was excited because by the time we had you scheduled for the show, you were already over the top, as Jason mentioned on the Indiegogo project. Now, a little thing I noticed though, you're planning. I know because now you're over the top, and I guess you're going to keep collecting the money until people quit running their debit card. But when do you actually? When does the hard work? When do you have that plan to start?
As early in 2019 as we can. We're going to be shooting in Los Angeles. We'll be shooting in New Mexico and one other major city. And so we still have some juggling and stuff. Basically, it's logistics at this point, figuring out when we can shoot everybody. But yeah, so just as soon as we can.
Okay, because I know that the 50 grand was your baseline budget. That's what you needed to do the project as you envisioned.
Actually, that's not our baseline budget at all. We also have investors.
Okay, well.
We couldn't make this movie for $50K.
I can let that sentence out. It really didn't matter because the thing is I saw was the main things you're wanting to do, especially now that you've topped that 50,000, is concentrate on, well, two things. The first one, which I think our 80s horror fans are really going to love, that takes it out of the realm of CGI and film effects and into real world effects.
Absolutely. We're doing 100% practical effects. I don't like the way the CGI looks. To me, it looks very flat. It lacks texture. It lacks shadowing. So yeah, that's a no-go for us. We just can't do it. This is a film for the 80s horror fans. And while this film is not a Friday the 13th, it is very different. It's more, think Hush, Cape Fear, but it has the horror kills. It has the horror actors that the fans love so much. So this is for them. So we are going all practical effects, and Nora is going to be making sure we do it right.
And
first off, let me say thank you for that, because we are so sick of CG right now, and just everything is CG this, CG that, and all us old school fans are like, why don't they do prosthetics and squibs and severed heads and the like? So thank you for that. I mean, we this is something we've been wanting to see come back in a big way.
Right.
I have a lot of friends of mine that do special effects and things, just more or less as a hobby. And, they're like, hey, should we even bother doing this anymore? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Because there's people, and like I said, case in point, I mean, there's going to be people like you that are going to want that, that old school feel to it. And there's fans like us that enjoy that.
Right. Well, and the CGI, it doesn't look real. That's just a bottom line. It does not look real. And that's not what we're looking for. We are looking for something that looks realistic.
Well, and one of the Friday 13th, and it's funny because when I remember I was little, I was probably maybe 6 or 7 when I watched it, and it was one of the ones where the guy gets the claw hammer to the head, and that my first reaction was like, ow. Because I mean, it looks so real, and you can't replicate that kind of stuff with CG. It doesn't look right. So that's where I'm excited about to see that that you're breathing more life into this now, and hopefully others will follow with this pattern.
Right.
So.
Right. Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
I mean, and of course, if you make anything else, and of course, you got you got experience now into doing that. So hopefully that'll be a reoccurring trend. We'll see you and other people that are start doing this more and more. So
right.
And of course now I'm actually going to be completely giddy over that and spreading the word out that we're not using CG in the movie. So
no. And check out Nora Hewitt if you don't already know who she is. She's quite a celebrity in her own right. A lot of the horror fans love her from Face Off.
Yeah, so I was looking through the chats here and everything, and of course people are saying hi to you, and they're excited about the project. So but yeah, like so when we're I'm definitely going to be spreading out to the different horror groups. Of course, are you on Twitter as well? Do you have a Twitter account?
But I am so bad about getting on there and Instagram, and I really need to understand it better. I'm just not very good at it. I really need somebody to help me with it.
Twitter's definitely a unique beast for sure. So,
but I would,
easy. Like I said, I would, definitely get on there and start throwing out some more tweets and things, and again, because like I said, there's a large fan base on Twitter, believe it or not, and a lot of the major, websites, horror websites and things, they, Blade Disgusting and Dread Central and all those guys, they lurk about on there, and. Of course, if nothing else, I mean, just tagging them in it, would probably, help, like to spread like wildfire. Of course, you've got Facebook there, and I mean, you've got tons and tons of fans on there. So I don't think you'll have any shortage of that anytime soon. So.
Well, thank you. I do need to get the other down. You just gave me a really good tip, though, so that's good to know.
Yeah, like I said, we and that's usually when I initially started doing Twitter. It was all tagging and follow. I think it was a Follow Friday. I think is what it was called. And you would tag all the people that would do or do different projects or maybe working on something with you. And you tag them and and spread them to your followers. Hey, follow them. Follow these people. And of course, they would start spreading that out and retweeting your tweets and things, and it kind of grew from there. So. If you I'm pretty sure I follow you on Twitter. I've got thousands of followers on there, so I'll check on there and see if I don't, I will. I primarily keep on the Facebook there and keep up with all the project that you're working on. And
well, if you could help share the stuff that I'm putting out on Twitter, that would be fantastic. And I got to figure out how to do it. So any advice you have, I am your student.
Absolutely. Like I said, we'll definitely get in there and we'll get you, get you out there and about and on Twitter. And I'm not much on the Instagram thing. I think I know a lot of the people use it these days. I'm, not very photogenic, so I don't do the Instagram thing. But
I don't understand that whole thing of you're supposed to like take pictures of yourself all the time. It's been hard for me because working with the fans and stuff. They'll ask me. They're like, put more pictures of yourself. Show me what you're doing. And I'm like going, really? Okay. Here, click.
Well, actually, you probably get some production stills going on there. That would be pretty awesome. Maybe
right.
Kind of some production stills on there.
Yeah, we'll definitely be doing that stuff. So.
And then, of course, like I said, and Twitter is big. I know a lot of trailers and things get released on there a lot too. So I know a lot of times that's where I learn, about some of the latest and greatest that's coming out. So.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, I would definitely get on there and promote that as well. And like I said, we'll blow this fan base out of the water with that.
Cool. You'll private message me on Facebook and let's talk about, what I need to do to make that happen. And your help would be fantastic.
No, I'd be glad to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wes is a bit of a Twitter man himself too. So
the secret to Twitter. The secret to Twitter is just to spam the hell out of everybody. I'm sorry. I wish there was a better way to describe it, but because Twitter is, you've got to saturate the market. Instagram, I'm with everybody else. It's the second most popular social network platform there is. I don't get it. I've played with it. I don't get it, and that's because I don't take pictures of my food. That's the only thing I can figure. We're at the end of the show. Before we let you go. They waited the entire show to finally post a good question in the chat room. Everything else was all about the Playboy Bunny thing. But as an actress, if at this point in your life, if you could have an opportunity to play any role that you wanted to, what is your dream role as an actress?
In horror films?
In any film. This is open platform. As an actress, there must be some part that you've seen that you just went, boy, I could have rocked that.
That would have been a lot of fun to do. I guess I am going to go ahead and stick with the horror film because the one that jumps out at me, I think it would have been very cool to do the Psycho Janet Leigh's role in that.
Classic.
I love the old Hitchcock films and the black and white, and I know that ages me, but I don't care. I know another one. If I could be a kid again, I would really like to do. My favorite movie is The Bad Seed. The favorite horror movie is The Bad Seed, and that's a little blonde-headed, pigtailed girl. But it had been a brunette, pigtailed girl. But I could definitely, totally like to do a psycho-killing little girl. That'd be
good
a
to
fun
know.
role to play.
Good to know, everybody. I want to thank our guest, Deborah Voorhees. I want to thank Jason Boyd for coming on as co-host. Everybody, this has been Scarefest Radio. Looking forward to next week. Next week, we have a 2-hour episode coming up. All paranormal, so you horror people might get bored, but we have a 2-hour paranormal extravaganza coming up next week. So stay tuned for that. Everybody, thanks for watching.